Haley Show and the Reignstorm Radio Show. We're their host, Michael Aguas. Michael, how are you? And I know you're really excited about our first podcast together.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. And yes, I am excited. This is new to me. So I don't know how far this could go, but everything that I feel and everything that I've researched says there is the sky, that's the limit.
That's what I love about, the name of your company, because that you make it rain. Michael, for those meeting you for the first time, what's the story behind the Reignstorm Group and your mission to slash taxes, crush debt, and build wealth?
Full transparency, I'd like to talk from the heart, right? And this really all started with something that I read from scripture where Jesus was being trapped, and long story short, he said, show me a coin. Who's on the coin? Caesar's. Okay. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, give it unto God what is God's. What I find is most people are paying Caesar more than he's asking for. More. Think about that. Why? Because they don't know the tax code. In all fairness, the tax code is north of 75,000 pages. I don't know all of it, but I just specialize in those sections that create large tax savings. Most of the people I work with are entrepreneurs. They work hard for their money. Many of them have already suffered significant loss before they found success. And unfortunately, oftentimes, they're being told by their accountant, you know what, here's your tax bill, just pay the bill. But they don't know that they have options on significantly lowering it. My position is you have a right to pay the higher tax, but I'd like to show you ideas on how we can reduce it. It's up to you whether you go forward or not.
So huge. And that it's a secret sauce that you figured out in your process. And I look forward to learning so much more about this. You've spent nearly 30 years working with top-tier financial advisors and tax professionals. How has that shaped your unique approach to helping business owners?
So what I've focused on was making those high-end financial advisors my partners. What do they really want to do? They call their business wealth management, which it is. But that definition is one of several parts of the word wealth management. They want to grow your assets to a higher level. Here's what I look to do alongside them in partnership. I look to give them more assets to manage for that same client. How? By taking the money that they were paying the IRS, that those clients were once paying the IRS and now get to keep in their pocket year. And because of that, the advisor has now has more to work with for that same client. That too is wealth management.
So it's interesting. You work with the tax professionals, save the taxes, and that helps so they both win. Both the financial advisor and the tax professional win. Explain.
Well, the biggest winner is the client, right? That's the goal.
True. But when you think about the financial advisor and the tax professional and putting those two people together, they maybe sometimes don't work hand in hand, do they?
Correct. Honestly, most of the time, the advisor considers the CPA the one who's likely to kill a deal or a proposal. And I work with both.
All right. You're known for uncovering overlooked sections of the tax code. What exactly are these opportunities, and why do most business owners never hear about them from their current?
So it partly depends on who they consider the advisor. Financial advisors don't really look deep into the tax code. They know they have their level of proficiency. Because remember, I work with hundreds of these guys. They reported to me when I ran a broker dealer. So I have an understanding of how they see things. They're focused on growing wealth, product, and delivering that to the clients, and marketing. I focus on learning the tax code, and that creates large tax savings. So most accountants know what they know, and they have vast knowledge. They offer great value to their clients. I know that because I work closely with a lot of these guys. But there are, again, 75 or so thousand pages in the tax code. Nobody knows everything. I specialize in the overlook sections. And some of these things create large employer benefits that they never knew existed. So to that end, I'm a sounding board to all these advisors on behalf of their clients. Hey, Michael, like just before this call, Michael, my client's selling his business in September, a couple of weeks from now, for about a $15 million gain. Is there anything we could do? That's coming from a CPA. And I have ideas, right? So I have ideas that I share with them. And then from there, they determine whether it's the right course for the client.
Exactly. All right. What made you decide to focus specifically on high income individuals and business owners instead of serving and trying to serve everyone?
Very easy. They are the heaviest burdened when it comes to taxes. They deal with so much pressure all the time, and taxes become one of those areas where they suffer a lot of stress. They stress over this stuff like you wouldn't believe. That's the first part. There's a saying that goes, if you want to make big income, solve big solutions, not solve big problems. This is a big problem for a lot of people. So I just focus on solutions for them. And there's more than one solution to reduce your taxes, oftentimes. So I give them options on what you can do to reduce your taxes. That's one. The second reason why I focus on these guys, they're decisive. They make decisions, and I love that. So it makes life a lot easier. They don't string you out for a long time before they say yes or no.
And that's it. And that's true. And they want you working with them. They want you to really benefit. You have to make a huge move for them to want to work with you.
Yes.
They have to show huge progress, and that's got to feel good.
Absolutely.
As a 3-time national racquetball champion and martial arts enthusiast, how do those disciplines influence your mindset and approach to business strategy?
So there's some similarities there, but I'll break down the individual areas. So my particular area of interest and practice in the martial arts is Kali, which is a blade weapons oriented art. And there's a saying that goes, you start playing defense when you're attacked with weapons, that's when you lose. There's this thing called OCR, offense, counter offense, recounter offense. Defense is the other guy's problem. So I look at that, and how do I apply that to my business? I'm always offense minded. I'm always looking to grow, to help, right? I don't play defense very well, right? Because I know I have enough ideas that could really benefit you. And the other part of that is in my presentations, frankly, I'm addressing questions before they ask them, right? So where's that in martial arts? The best place to be in a blade encounter is nowhere near the blade. Make sure that your opponent doesn't go for the weapon. That's the safest place you go to. So disarming the opponent is big. I make sure that my clients are fully informed, and that's how they get disarmed. So we build trust, we build credibility right away with that. With racquetball, practice, repeating the same shots over and over thousands of times throughout the year, and sometimes within a month. What does that mean? I practice my craft. I look into everything that I say is a strategy that I believe in. I continue to look at it over and over. I deliver the message to the clients over and over. Repetition, both in racquetball and martial arts, is huge. So whenever someone's, tell me about this program, I could tell them about the program in one breath because I've repeated it so many times, right? And everything in both cases is preparation. John Wooden, my favorite coach, UCLA Bruins, legendary, right? 10 straight years of championships. He never told his teams to win. He taught them to prepare. So they practiced as hard and as smart as they could. He focused on that. And that's what I do. I focus on the preparation. The results take care of themselves.
When you meet a new client, what's the very first thing you look for to identify if they're overpaying in taxes?
I already assume that. By the time they get to me, their accountant or their advisor has already had a major or a real conversation with them about that. It's already a pain point to them. They're already feeling it. And no matter what they're paying, as long as they're paying taxes, I have ideas on how to reduce it, whether they're overpaying or not. And I start with things like retirement plans. I've run into clients who are putting away at the time $40,000 in a SEP IRA, but they're paying like literally $700,000 in taxes. I'm like, you realize that you could get into a different retirement plan where you could put away hundreds of thousands of dollars, fully tax deductible. So instead of paying the IRS, you're putting away towards your retirement. The money's growing tax deferred, and you could live off it for the rest of your life. They're like, no, I didn't know that, because your advisor didn't know that there are other options like 412E3 or defined benefit plans, cash balance plans. We introduce those concepts to them. We always have solutions for clients who are paying a lot in tax. Always.
All right. What's the biggest misconception people have about tax planning versus tax preparation? And how does clearing up that confusion help business owners keep more money?
You have to know who you're working with. Some people, many, quite frankly, are tax preparers. All they want to do is, listen, give me all your records for the year, all your statements. I will come back with your tax return and let you know how much you pay. That's a tax preparer. Most people in that world are focused on just that type of service. Now, the tax professional, tax planner is different. They meet with their clients within the year to minimize next year's taxes or this current year's taxes. Those are the ones I work with. The reality of my world is Most CPAs and enrolled agents, tax professionals, they're not interested in the stuff I do because it takes them outside of their role. They just want to do what they've been doing all along. I prepare tax returns. I give the advice that I'm comfortable with, and we'll just stay there because it's served me so far. I come back to that is what? That's great. And it says a lot. But remember, if your client comes to me and they start hearing ideas that could have been reducing their taxes significantly in their minds, and I introduce those topics to them, their first phone call is to you saying, hey, this was your job. Why am I getting these ideas to save taxes from someone else who I don't even hire? You're the one I've been paying all these years. I've had a very uncomfortable conversation happen years ago saying, listen, what Michael's talking about saves me about $1.5 million. No, it saves me about $1.5 million a year. I've been working with you for 5 years. How come you never introduced these ideas to me? The accountant's like, I never knew about them. And he's like, look, I really like you, but the reality is I don't like you for $7.5 million. And after we're done here, I'm going to have to make a transition out of this practice. I need to work with somebody who can do a better job for me. I've been in those awkward conversations, and it's not a pleasant meeting.
You do the work to make sure that you help your clients for sure. If you're interested in learning more information on you, Michael, where can they?
They can come and just email me. My email is my first name, Michael, at rainstormgroup.com. That's
Awesome.
REIGN, stormgroup.com. And just reach out there. At some point, we're going to have a little link on this podcast where they could just go to that link and schedule a meeting or have a conversation.
Appreciate it, Michael. What a great first podcast. Appreciate it, sir.
All right. Thank you.
That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Reignstorm Radio Show. Take care, guys.